What's up, y'all? How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? Welcome back to Vibe and Work, you know what I'm saying? And as you can see, man, we're going to talk about today the people-pleasing behaviors and what you can do about it, and if you're having a challenge getting over it, how you can understand it intellectually and then apply some practical steps to help you help yourself. You feel me? All right, y'all. So I know at times, man, we do things we don't want to do for people. So are you tired of saying yes to everything while your own needs and actual wants and desires get pushed to the back burner? Is that you? You ever find yourself just kind of frustrated with yourself like, dang, why did I say yes to that? Why did I help that person? Why didn't I tell them no or tell them what I needed? Well, if you ever been through that, which you have, and you haven't yet figured out how to overcome it, then this is the exact video for you. And thank you for being here today, y'all. In this deep dive lesson, I'll break down to you the real psychology behind people-pleasing behaviors, okay? And give you the spiritual tools to reclaim your authentic self, y'all. We're talking about trauma responses, boundary setting, and how to stop performing for love, performative action. Stop showing up in a performing way and start living in your power and becoming more authentically you. So, a couple things we're going to cover today, you know what I'm saying? Check out the description and I'll start showing my sources of information just so y'all can look this stuff up too and help yourself. You feel me? So, what's up to all my fellow explorers? Thank y'all for being here. Fellow explorers of the vibrant mind. I'm your behavior coach, Justin Fales, and I'm here to help you ground your spiritual wisdom into your everyday behavior. Today, we fixing to dig a little bit deeper than probably what you've been digging to help you understand why you keep putting everybody else's needs before your own. What's causing me to do that? Well, you're going to find out here. And more importantly, how to break that cycle that's got you feeling drained, resentful, and disconnected from your own authentic self. Okay? If you're ready to stop being a doormat in other people's lives, y'all, and start taking your power back, I'm telling you, stick around. Because I'm about to give you all that you need to know. Real talk. So, of course, you know I like to start out with visualization, or giving you metaphors or just ideas that you can apply. So I'm gonna do it again. Now look here, before we get started, I'm gonna have to go ahead and paint you this picture. You know that friend that's always showing up to your every need. Every time you need them, they just showing up. They can bring you soup when you sick, put some gas in your tank when you need it. They'll help you move on a Saturday and they had just got off work. They'll listen to all of your problems. Okay, this sounds a little bit like that B. Simone, you know what I'm saying, interview I just watched the other day. But that's neither here nor there. But go check it out. B. Simone with her best friend. Okay? But anywho, but they can be applicable in real life here, just watching it. So maybe this person is doing all these things for you and stretching themselves for you. But then you notice something. What do you notice? You notice that they never ask for help back. They don't ever ask nobody for nothing. Not one thing. They doing all of this for everybody else. But they never ask for help themselves. They always smiling, giggling. They always agreeable. No resistance or pushback from anyone that ever needs something from them. But there's something in their eyes. When you look in their eyes deeper, they look a little bit empty and unfulfilled. That might be you. That could be you. And if that is, we about to change that today. So follow along. See, people misconceive what people pleasing is. People pleasing ain't just about being nice. A lot of people just want to be nice. They want to be kind to people, so they'll do what other people want them to do. But according to the research from PsychCentral, check out the links below, my sources below. People pleasing behaviors are often exhibited by individuals who fear abandonment from others. And that's some deep stuff right there. We talking about an actual trauma response that gets rooted deeper than the trees, them pine trees from where I'm at. Deeply rooted stuff, y'all. So we're going to continue to break down today the real psychology behind why people please, how these behaviors show up in your spiritual life, the hidden costs that you pay every day that you people please, and most importantly, a step-by-step process to heal and reclaim your authentic self. All right? Now, we're going to start with the psychology side of it, y'all. And I'm going to tell you something that might just blow your mind a little bit. That people-pleasing behavior you think is just being nice is actually what psychologists call a fawn response. Okay? The research shows us there's fight, flight, freeze, and then fawn. F-A-W-N. Okay? Most folks really don't know about that last one. They know about the first three. But fawn is when you try to make yourself more appealing to a threat. Think about it like this. Let me help you out. All right? You know how a possum can play dead at times, right? When it's scared. So it plays dead. Well, people pleasers, they do the same thing. Something very similar. But instead of playing dead, they try to play perfect. They think if I could just be what everybody else want me to be, then I'll be safe. I'll be accepted. I'll be validated. According to licensed psychotherapist Pete Walker, okay, who coined the term, fawning is a response to a threat by becoming more appealing to the threat. Let me say that again. Fawning is a response to a threat by becoming more appealing to the threat. Now that's some heavy stuff, y'all, okay? We literally shape ourselves, bend ourselves, mold ourselves into what we think others want us to become, because deep down we're scared of being rejected or abandoned. And when you're scared of being rejected or abandoned, you will do anything just about to not be rejected or abandoned. But I can feel it as I'm saying it, where you can hear where that could become an issue. And that's why we're talking about people pleasing today, okay? We're gonna come from the spiritual dimension with this next expression, all right? Now, from a spiritual perspective, y'all, this goes even deeper. See, when we constantly put others before ourselves, we disconnect from our divine nature, y'all. And let me reference the Bible. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. Not instead of yourself, but as yourself. That means you got to have some love for you somewhere in there first. You have to have love for yourself to give that love to others. And if you're not operating from a place of loving yourself, you're actually giving out an unauthentic or shell of yourself to the world. Now the world is molding you. Or I should say, you're allowing the world to mold you, to determine who you are. When we people please, y'all, we essentially saying that everybody else's needs and opinions matter more than our own divine guidance. We let the fear override the faith. Fear over faith? Nope. Control, Alt, delete that. Okay? Because when you people please, what you're really doing, you're choosing man's approval over God's approval. You were already validated and approved when you were born. No need to actually have to go seek it no more once you really understand that concept. You being here is already validation enough. And that's a dangerous place to be if you're seeking man's approval over what's built into you, that guidance system in you that's connected to God in the first place. That external place, okay? Think about it like this. If you got a garden and you keep giving all your water to your neighbor's plants, y'all, while your garden is drying up, getting beat up in the sun, the insects tearing it up, what's going to happen? Because you're not tending to it in the proper way. Your garden is going to die. It's going to fade away. And guess what? Your neighbor's still gonna expect that water to come in tomorrow to their plants. Now think about that. You're doing all this people pleasing and you're building up this reinforcement with the people you're pleasing that you're gonna continue this. They're expecting it. They're feeling entitled to this part of you because you told them with your behaviors over and over and over that I will be there. I will be there no matter what. I will be there no matter how I am, no matter how I feel, no matter what I'm going through, no matter what. I will be there for you. And you never stop to actually ask, hold on, wait. First off, can I be there for myself? But second off, would you do the same for me? And that's exactly what happens with people pleasing. They get blinded by the fact that they're pleasing to the extent that they no longer actually realize who they're pleasing, how these people are affecting them, and what they're trying to get out of this. Okay? So that leads into the shame connection, y'all. And here's where it gets realer and realer. Researcher Queek Autry discovered something very, very profound in his own journey. People pleasing is often rooted in deep-seated shame. Brene Brown defines shame as the intensely painful feeling of experience of believing that we are flawed. You believe you are flawed and therefore unworthy of love, belonging, and connection. So let's stop there, y'all. Oh my goodness. When you really start thinking you flawed, that requires some shadow and deep root work to uproot those belief systems. Because we can't even get nowhere if you believe you flawed. You're not flawed. You're perfect as you are in this moment right now. Everything you've done has created what you are and who you are right now, which is a perfect representation of who and what you are right now. Now, who and what you are right now, that doesn't invalidate that creation, that entity, that person you're showing up as. That doesn't invalidate it. Now, how you feel about it, you may want to improve some things. But first you have to realize you can't say, I don't want to be this person because this person shouldn't exist. No, this person already exists. Now it's a matter of determining where I want to go from being this person. Understand? Okay? So, y'all, this gonna hit a little different if it already haven't, right? Because everything I just said was understanding and getting connected with the fact that you don't need any external validation. When you believe deep down that you ain't worthy of love for just being who you are, and whoever you are in this moment is who you are in this moment, you start performing to earn the love that's already given to you in the first place. Imagine that. You start trying to seek the thing that's already available to you by the behaviors of the people pleasing. But love is already there. That's why you can even walk this journey, is because love exists. Okay? You become like a street performer. You start performing to feel worthy of the thing that's already available to you and you're connected to in the first place. It blinds you from that fact. You always start putting on a show, putting on the front, putting on the mask of who you really are so that people can accept you. But why would you want to be accepted by people that don't accept you? Think about that. Take everything out from this scenario. Why would you want somebody to accept you? Don't matter who it is, mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin, auntie, uncles, it don't matter. Friend, it don't matter. Why would you want somebody to accept you who don't accept you? So once we get over there, like, oh, okay, they don't accept me. That just means something in them they can't accept within them. That has nothing to do with me. You have to put space there from you and the person that's projecting this on you. Okay? So we don't want to put on the front. We want to put on a mask. We want to be more authentic. And we want to show up for ourselves in an affectionate way. I remember growing up where I grew up, man, in Pine Bluff, y'all. And anybody that grew up with a lack of, you would see things such as your mama, your granny always in the kitchen fixing plates for the whole neighborhood. Everybody that walked through the door, they just tossing them at them. Even when we barely have food ourselves to eat. Understand? Because they could perceive the thought of their worth being tied to how much I give. I give to others. I'm going to give to others no matter what. But see, that's coming from a place of survival and not necessarily love. There's love in it because in order to experience it, love has to exist within it. There's no experience without love because that's our core state. Okay? So, we're going to talk about how this people-pleasing behavior can show up and affect your actual life. The many faces of people-pleasing, y'all. Let me break down this and show you. Show you where it pops up in your life like a wart. What causes people-pleasing? Because it got more facets than a funhouse mirror. You know those funhouse mirror places where you go in and you see the mirrors everywhere? People-pleasing is like that. Okay? So the first way it can show up is the agreeable Shyamalan. This is when you change your opinions based on who you're talking to. You with your church friends or your high school buddies. If you with your church friends, what you gonna do? You're gonna start talking holy. You with your work friends, what you gonna start do? You're gonna start acting all professional and worldly. You got no consistent identity. Because you busy being whoever they asking you to be. Okay? Another way this can show up is the overcommitted helper. This is the person who just can't say no to nothing. Your calendar is booked out and full to capacity. Look like a jigsaw puzzle or something. You don't got no empty spaces at all. But you helping everybody else build their dreams while yours is collecting dust. That's the overcommitted helper. Another way it can show up is as the perfectionist performer. Okay? This person got to be perfect all the time. Because you think that's the only way that people will accept you. You exhausted from trying to be perfect all the time in every area of your life. The perfect parent, the perfect employee, the perfect Christian, the perfect everything. And I must say, that particular one, the perfectionist performer, that was something I had to reflect to myself to see clearly. That I was performing as a perfectionist a lot of my adulthood and part of my childhood. So that's why I can give you this expression, this experience, raw, uncut, and real. So another people pleaser way it can show up is the conflict avoider. You rather swallow your truth than speak up and potentially upset the person you're talking to. Imagine it. You got actual truth you want to spit, but you're going to swallow it for somebody else. You apologizing for things that ain't even your fault. Now, according to the research, people pleasers rarely express criticism. If you hanging around somebody that never criticizes nothing you do or say, that person is probably people pleasing. So if you're on the other side of that as a friend, recognize that in your friend and speak on it. Speak light into them. Like, yo, have an opinion about something? Disagree with something? Anything. Okay? So, these ways that it show up have hidden costs. And we're going to talk about the hidden costs next. What is it costing me to be a people pleaser? Because every behavior you do has a price tag. Okay? Now, this is how it affects your physical health, y'all. The research from Heather Hayes and Associates, okay, shows that people pleasers often experience chronic stress, which leads to all kinds of health problems. Your body keeping score even when your mind trying to ignore it. Your body is its own mind, y'all. You have this mind, the intellect, and then you have your body mind doing its own thing. And they have to be in cohesiveness to function correctly, okay? People pleasing can affect your mental health. Now, studies link people pleasing to anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem, man. When you constantly invalidating your own needs, your mind starts believing you don't even matter. Do you matter? Because from a mental standpoint, all you doing is helping others mental. You're not paying attention to what's going on here. You just allowing yourself to freely be fluid like that little thing that be going like this in the front of the car dealerships. This is what you doing. Don't do that, y'all. Okay? This is how it can affect your relationships. This is the cost of people pleasing, y'all. And this is really ironic. The very thing you do to keep people close, the very thing is actually pushing them away. Nobody ever told you that, huh? Nobody want a relationship with a fake version of you. And if they do, they ain't for you. If they fall in love with the fake you, then they ain't for you. They need to know who the real you and give you and them the choice to decide if this is a walk we want to continue together. They want the real you. And if they don't, give it to them anyways. So you can find out what's real. Even if the real you got some rough edges and flaws, that's all right, baby. It's cool to have flaws. We all got flaws, and that's what's beautiful about it. We don't gotta be perfect. Imagine that we can be perfect by being flawed. Come on, y'all. And this is how it affects your spiritual connection, okay? When you constantly seek approval from people, what are you doing? Spiritually, you're seeking validation from an external force. You lose touch with your own divine approval, okay? You can't even hear God's voice because you too busy listening to everybody else's expectations. And you were the reason they even expect something out of you because you, through your behaviors, were people pleasing the whole time. Okay? We're going to jump into some real talk analogies, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you some examples so that maybe you can relate this to something going on in your life. Let's use Miss Mary at church, okay? So, everybody probably know a Mary at church. Sister Mary was always the first to volunteer for everything, okay? She always said yes to everything. She ran 3 of the ministries. She sang in the choir. She cooked for every event, y'all. Okay? And she still managed to have a full-time and raise 2 kids. Hey, Sister Mary was snapping, huh? Everybody loves Sister Mary, though. Oh, Sister Mary, she's such a blessing to our life, man. But you know what? What was going on with Sister Mary inside, man? She was losing herself. She was dying inside. She might have said one day, for instance, you know, I don't even know who I am no more, y'all. I'm everybody's blessing, but I feel cursed inside. Me being the blessing to the extent that I'm being a blessing is causing me to not even feel who I am any longer. That's the cost of people pleasing, y'all. You become everybody else's blessing, but your own curse. Okay, now we're going to dive into the spiritual roots and religious perspectives on this thing. You know I like to bring heaven to earth. We're going to talk about the science. We're going to talk about the spiritual. We're going to talk about the religion. We're going to talk about it all, y'all. Y'all can get all these different perspectives so that no matter your perspective, you can be affected, gain new knowledge, and apply some of these principles into your life. Okay? Now, the biblical perspective of people pleasing, y'all. Let's look at what the good book say, okay? In Galatians 1:10, Paul asks what? Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Huh? Or am I trying to please people? Like, my whole purpose is to please you, person. If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. And what Paul was saying in this, you can't serve 2 masters, y'all. You either serving God or you serving people's opinions, y'all. And that's all a person can give you is their opinion, their perspective. All right? When you people please, you're making people's words and opinions your God. We can't do that, y'all. You supposed to be tapped in yourself. You supposed to know these things for yourself. Okay? Jesus himself give us a perfect example of healthy boundaries in Mark 1:35 through 1:38. What we do? What he do? What Jesus do? We see Jesus go off by himself to pray. And when the disciples come looking for him, because everybody want him to heal and touch them, you know what Jesus said, y'all? Huh? He said, let us go somewhere else. Jesus had the audacity to say no to people's needs. Why? Because these needs wasn't aligned with his purpose. It was theirs. Okay? Now we're going to tap into some African spiritual wisdom as well, y'all. Let's get a perspective from the African spiritual, you know what I'm saying, community. Now, from the African spiritual perspective, our ancestors understood the concept of Ubuntu. I spoke on this before. Ubuntu is also an operating system for Linux. Go look it up. That's just the nerd in me thought about that word. I am, but Ubuntu states I am because we are. Okay? But see, Ubuntu doesn't mean you disappear into the collective. It means you showing up as your authentic self within your community. That's the best gift you can give anybody, is to be who you really are. Your unique gifts and perspectives are what we make the community whole. That's how you make the community whole, is to give them authentically who you are. Not your scraps. Not the fake you. That ain't gonna help nobody in the end. When you people please, you're robbing the community of your authentic contribution. You're bringing a watered down version of yourself to the table. Nobody want to see no watered down version of you. Okay? And that ain't what our ancestors intended, if you didn't know. They didn't want you to show up as your false self, your watered down self. No, sugar. Show up as the sugar in the Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? The salt on them eggs. That's who you are. Be that. Now we're going to dive into the occult perspective. Occult just means hidden knowledge, y'all, okay? Now from an occult or esoteric standpoint, people-pleasing represents a fundamental disconnection from your true will. Your true will. In Hermetic philosophy, y'all, discovering and following your true will is the highest spiritual achievement there is. When you constantly bending your wills for others' will, you're blocking your own spiritual evolution. Okay? Think about it like this. Every time you say yes when you really mean no, you're creating a little fracture in your soul and your confidence in the way you're going to show up. Over time, these fractures turn into cracks, y'all. Okay? And those cracks let in all kinds of negative energy and confusion. Now you don't know who you are. Because you've been people pleasing so long, them cracks then turned into some giant weeds in your cracks. Okay? Now we're going to come from the energy and boundaries perspective. From an energetic perspective, okay? People pleasers have what we call porous behaviors. Your energy field is like a sieve, okay? Everything flowing in and out without your permission. Just coming and going, coming and going, coming and going without your permission. You picking up on everybody else's emotions, taking on all their issues and their problems. What's happening energetically? You're giving your life force away. Okay? In African traditional spirituality, we understand that your personal power is sacred. When you constantly giving it away to appease other folk, y'all, what you doing? You weakening your spiritual foundation, man. Stop doing that, y'all. You feel me? All right. Now we're going to transform this thing. So we're going to focus on the transformation process now. All right. Step 1, radical self-awareness. You got to be aware radically of what's going on with you. First thing you got to do is be real about your patterns, real about what you see in yourself, real about what you're thinking. Now, the research shows that becoming aware of your actions is only the first step to recovery, but it's a really big step. You can't fix what you're not aware of. So start asking yourself a couple of these questions, y'all. Now, am I saying this thing to people please someone at my own expense? Am I only saying yes because I think this person want me to say yes? Or am I saying yes because I truly, authentically want to? Do my actions right now align with my personal values and moral and integrity? Am I being authentic, or am I being a phony? Am I taking actions for someone else's benefit and not my own? Now, go ahead and get a journal or something, y'all. And for a week, just start writing down what you become radically aware of in your thought process. Every time you catch yourself people pleasing, write that junk down. Don't judge it. Just write it down. It's only information. Ain't nothing to be afraid of, right? You might be shocked at how often it happens if you're in that space of people pleasing. You might be mind blown by how often you actually been doing it. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Becoming radically aware of it is the first step. Now, we're going to validate those experiences once you become aware, okay? Now, the research from PsychCentral shows that people experiencing the Fawn response often grew up having their feelings invalidated. Every time you had a feeling and you wanted to express it, you got invalidated. Like, cut that off. Who asked you to say that? Don't say that no more. You a kid. You shouldn't have no opinion. Respect your elders. All that stuff, man. When we was growing up, we had to deal with. So now that you're older, ain't no more excuses. You gotta invalidate yourself. As a kid, you did what you had to do to survive and fit in. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. But understand that affected you. Now you gotta start speaking to yourself like you would speak to your best friend. Be authentic in your conversations with yourself. Instead of saying, I'm so stupid for saying yes again, try a different approach. Try like being how you would be to your friend. Like, hey, I'm learning to honor my needs. And that takes a little time and practice. That's all. Hey, homie, don't be hard on yourself, my boy. You know what I'm saying? You just learning how to honor yourself, man. That's cool. That's cool. And then take your time and put it into practice. The way you are people pleasing to others, start people pleasing in reverse to yourself. Speak to yourself the way you would to them, so that yourself can hear that yourself is receiving this information for self. Understand? Man, that boy on fire right now. You feel me? Love teaching y'all, man. I love learning. So here's some validation statements you can practice. You know what I'm saying? You can implement these things right here, right now in your life. My feelings and my needs are valid. Period. Don't put no other words on it. Now, I deserve to take up space. I deserve to take up space, especially within myself and within my own thoughts. I deserve to love on me, to consider me. Don't allow anybody else to tell you otherwise. I don't care who they is. Okay? I even tell my kids, hold on. I'm not just your daddy. I'm a person too. So I need some space. Whatever your needs are based on my response, I will attend to those when I attend to those. And I will, because I said so. Because that's who I am. But as of this moment, I deserve space for myself. Okay? And it's okay to disappoint people sometimes. Start saying this. It's okay to disappoint folk. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because if you expecting something out of me that I don't want to do, you disappointing yourself. You disappointing yourself for expecting it out of me. Okay? And I'm okay with that. Because I understand that you got some people pleasing stuff or some rejection stuff to deal with. Alright? Another statement you could practice, y'all, is I am worthy of love just as I am. Right now. It don't matter what you've been through, what you done did, none of that, y'all. Stop letting people convince y'all that what you did matters in that way. It matters for what it mattered for. But as of this exact moment, and everything that you've made up in this moment, all of your actions, your behaviors, your beliefs, everything that you are right here, right now, is only a temporary version of you. Understand that. And you can take this temporary version and take it in any direction that you want in life. So if you want to stop people pleasing, for instance, everything that led up to you to feel like a people pleaser right here, right now, is temporary. Because now you're aware and you can start working on the steps and the education and the application to become a new temporary person or more permanent person. based on what you prefer and not what people want you to be. Understand? Now we got to start building that spiritual foundation as well. And this is where the word gets deep and takes deep practice. You got to rebuild your relationship with the divine, y'all. That's within you and that's connected to you. Okay? And we're going to start with some daily practices you can start tapping into. For instance, in the morning, what can you do? You can spend 10 minutes, just 10, y'all, just 10 minutes every morning connecting with your inner wisdom before you engage in the real world. Don't get up and do nothing and pick up your phone and start thinking about the emails and think about what you got to do for the kids. In the morning, just sit there. Sit there for 10 minutes and connect with you. Okay? You can have a boundary prayer. You can start praying with boundaries. Now, God, help me. Help me discern between your will and people's expectations. And give me that courage to follow your guidance even when it disappoints others. Be the light in me to show them that it's okay for me to choose me. And let me allow myself to be okay with disappointing other people for the sake of self. Okay? You can do this in the evening. You can ask yourself, hey, hold on, did I honor myself today in an authentic way? Or was I people pleasing all day? And where are some precise moments that I can recall or wrote down where I gave my power away? And I'm okay with that. Another practice, y'all. We have to practice this. You got to practice this if you're a people pleaser. Straight up. You got to start saying no. Even if you would want to do something for a person just because you are that person and you authentically want to do it, say no still. You have to practice this. This is where the rubber meets the road, y'all. Okay? You got to start flexing that no muscle. You have to build that habit and that behavior. But do it gradually, man. You know what I'm saying? You can start with week 1. In 1 week, just start saying no to small things, small requests. Hey, can you hand me that pencil? No. Can you go grab me this cup? No. Why? Because we need you to understand, first off, you have the authority and the right to say no. And then you can start practicing, let me think about it. To give yourself space to actually think about it. Instead of immediately saying yes and popping off with a yes. Because you've made that your habit, made that your behavior. Okay? And then you can transition into saying no to something bigger without over-explaining or apologizing. You ever heard somebody tell you no and gave you every reason in the book why it's a no? That person is people-pleasing. They want to appeal and give you a valid reason for them to feel good to say no. You don't gotta explain to nobody your no. But why you didn't? Because no. You didn't. You changing. Okay. Man, you usually do. Okay. But no. But why you keep saying no? Because no. The end. Nothing else to talk about. Okay? Remember, no is a complete sentence. It's no, period. You don't have to put a comma and more words behind it. You don't owe nobody a whole explanation on why you can't do something. Okay? Now we're going to start, once you start doing these practices, we're going to work on cultivating that authentic self in you. You can start doing these things just because you want to do them. What did you love before you started performing all these other tasks for people? And you don't even know because now your mind clouded. You've been people pleasing so long, you don't even know what you like to do. But you can sit there in the morning, like I was saying, for 10 minutes and start connecting with yourself. What dreams did you abandon before you started deciding to make others comfortable? And you can make a list of 10 things, y'all, you genuinely enjoy. It might be drinking coffee. It might be going to the movies. It might be walking your dog. It might be biking. It might be skating, whatever it is. And start implementing and committing to doing one of those things every week, regardless of what anybody thinks. Okay? And we have to start building these healthy relationships too. Now, the research shows that building satisfying, mutually fulfilling relationship is crucial for recovering from the people-pleasing behavior. This means you have to start surrounding yourself with people who accept your authentic self and can actually accept you saying no sometimes. You have to be around people that you can have an honest conversation with about your boundaries. You have to be willing to lose relationships that only existed on the premises that you were a people pleaser. Some folk gonna be mad at you, but it is what it is. When you stop people pleasing, stop becoming that yes man or woman, just understand they gotta be mad because they got their own process. So you already understand ahead of time you're coming out of a place of love. Don't get mad if they get mad at you. Just be like, it is what it is, because that's their work and not yours. Okay? So we're gonna tap into some techniques and stuff that y'all can implement today. Alright? This is called the stop technique. Because when you feel something, the urge to people please, you can't help it. I want to say yes to this person because I'm so used to it. What do you need to do? First, you need to stop what you're doing. Hold on. Then you're going to take a deep breath. You're going to observe what you're feeling. What am I feeling? And you're going to proceed with intention and not reaction, y'all. Okay? Another tool and technique is the value check. Before you commit to anything, you're going to ask yourself, does this align with my values and priorities of what I got going on today? If the answer is no, don't second guess it. Then your answer should be no. Don't try to find reasons to unjustify your own necessity of saying no. Okay? You can also do the energy assessment where you're trying to fill out the energy. Check your energy regularly. Are you feeling drained? Resentful? Those are the signs of being a people pleaser, y'all. And when you living authentically, you feel energized. Even when you're working hard, I be working hard, but I be straight. I be feeling good. Why? Because I'm doing me. I'm tapped into me. I'm building up me. I'm connected. All right? And there's a spiritual compass you can use. Develop a practice of checking in with your inner guidance, your intuition. Some people call it intuition. Some people call it the Holy Spirit, higher self, whatever you like to call it. But learn to trust their voice over the noise of others' expectations. All right? Now look here, y'all. All my fellow explorers, my family. Before you step out today, already make up in your mind that I ain't gonna please nobody but self. Breaking free from people pleasing might not necessarily be easy, but it's necessary. You deserve to live as your authentic self, y'all. We all need an authentic version of each other to actually make the correct changes that we need in our society. But we can't even make the correct changes because people being fake. You don't even know who this person really is. We don't need no watered down version designed to make others comfortable. We need you as you are, who you are. I don't care what area of life or what you tapping into. Be you. Be what your authentic self is calling you to be. And you remember what I told you at the beginning about Jesus, right? What he said. What Jesus say, y'all? Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, not instead of yourself. You can't give what you don't have. You can't love others authentically if you don't love yourself first and foremost. And the research clear cut. No questions about it. People pleasers often end up feeling used and resentful, which ain't gonna help nobody in the end. But when you show up as your authentic self at all times, with those healthy boundaries and that genuine love for you and that person, you create space for real relationships and connections to form, nurture, and grow. Your healing journey gonna start today. Okay? Why? Because you just gonna start small. You're gonna be patient with yourself, and you're gonna remember every time you choose an authentic expression of yourself over people-pleasing approval, you're choosing freedom over fear. And we're gonna operate out of freedom and love because that's a vibrant state and frequency to operate in. Okay? Now, if this video helped you, drop a comment, y'all. Connect with your boy. Let me know which step you gonna start with, or if you need a further explanation on any part of this. And don't forget to subscribe for more content on grounding spiritual wisdom into your everyday behavior. Until next time, y'all, keep exploring that vibrant mind of yours. And remember, you're worthy of love just as you are. Peace, love.